Yo, welcome in Funeyeproduction YouTube. On this video, we will start Working Station Challenge Season 2 International. And this time, Pickled Gunpla gonna show us his studio and his working station. So, Jordan from Denver, the stage is yours. Let's go!
What's up, Gundam Builders? I'm Pickled Gundam. My name's Jordan. I've been nominated by Planox Project to give you a walkthrough of my space and my studio and my workstation. You're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. I'm in the middle of working on a turn red. I'm actually in the home stretch of that right now, finishing up some things. So you'll see a little bit of my work in progress station, or what it looks like during that. But yeah, let's dive right in. So, well, I'll give you an overview of the entire desk. This is the main workspace. So, we'll just go item by item. Obviously, get a good cutting mat. I think the bigger the better. Usually all the paints I keep on my desk are the paints I'm actually working with. Or just the ones that don't fit in my rack, some primers, some thinners. This is the next stage for me with my turn red. I have this nifty little 3D printed organizer that I love. I've got some sanding sticks in here, a lot of just basic tools, a couple sets of tongs, a couple of pens I use a lot, some hand drills, markers just for writing on bags, so on and so forth. Let's see, what do we have down here? My decal solutions, some glue, which I always keep on hand. I've got an enamel thinner, an acrylic thinner, and a lacquer thinner around, all used for different things. Three colors of panel line. I have gray panel line, black panel line, and brown panel line around here, which I rarely use, but is good for weathering and such. This is a really great tool. I use this a lot for decaling, especially when you have like curved pieces that'll roll around or are hard to hold while, applying a large decal. You clip them in there and it just kind of holds your piece right where you want it. You can use these for painting as well. I don't do that as much because I just kind of use the clip sticks and hold them. Moving on, some detail brushes, another sanding stick, small ruler for any scribing, backup blades, some erasers, which isn't really part of my process anymore. This is a part separator, which came with the LED kit for my Banshee, but this thing is fantastic for when you are disassembling, if you're like me and you build a kit before you paint it and then disassemble it. Couple of container, just reservoirs for water decals, or any thing that you'd have to do any paint pooling with. Some masking tape. Obviously a good lamp is important. This is my compound polish for candy coating. This is a 3-stage compound polish that I'll use for getting a really high gloss on candy coating. I did that with my Turn X most recently, that you can check out on my page. Moving on, some old Gundam markers, not really part of my process anymore, but still fun to have them around, as well as, tons of Gundam pens, paint pens. It's kind of how I started customizing kits, but don't really do that anymore. This stuff just kind of lives here still. In these drawers have my nippers. I don't use anything fancy, just some Hobby Lobby, I think they were like $7 or something like that. That drawer's not sliding back in easily. We'll just leave it out. Q-tips, which I use like a madman. Several different types. These hard hobby Q-tips are really, really nice. I have big ones and small ones of those. These things rock. Some weathering, Tamiya weathering pads, which are, you know, fun, great to use. This is my new scribing set, which I haven't actually used yet. I've gone through quite a few different ones, trying to find one that I like. Hoping this will be the one. I initially started with this Tamiya scriber, which I don't recommend to anyone. Honestly, it's horrible. And then I moved on to this chisel set, which I also keep around, which was good. It was decent, but it wasn't quite what I wanted yet. And yeah, so this is an adjustable scribing set. Excited to try it on my barber test that I'm doing next. So this is some Teflon tape that mostly I use for fixing seals on the airbrush, or plumber's tape it's called. These are sanding blocks and buffer blocks. I've done a bit of like buffing pieces. You can get like high shine on just unpainted plastic, which is cool. Some scribing tape, some scribing guide tape. This is my favorite hobby knife set. This was also fairly cheap from Hobby Lobby. I think like 15 bucks or something like that. You know, I didn't think I was going to use all these blades until I got it, and I actually use them all the time. I love this thing. Bunch of sandpaper, you know, should be on everyone's desk. I have all the way from 800 to I think 5,000 grit, and everything in between. This is a great tool. This I use mostly for detail painting. It has interchangeable lenses, just different levels of magnification, and it has a light on it, which is very handy. I'm big into painting pilots inside the MS, even though no one ever sees them and they're impossible to get pictures of. I still do it. This space is typically reserved for just where I put runners when I'm actually building. This is a dry board. I have some cans left over from when I was big into can painting, you know, primers, top coats, colors, overcoats. Don't really do much of cans anymore, but I keep them on hand because these are full and I have a couple interesting colors. Like, you know, I might use this pink for tiny accents, something like that, but you know, it's too much paint to waste. And then here, a lot of my clip sticks. I have a million and I'm still using a lot. But the less I have to take pieces off clip sticks and put new pieces on, the better. Save you a lot of time to have a lot of these bad boys. So I order big packs of the clips, get the dowels from Walmart, and then I just use sticky tack to keep it on there. And this is extremely disorganized right now, but this is where I keep all my paints. I use primarily lacquers. I'll only ever use enamel or acrylic for detail painting and small brush painting, maybe tiny accents with the airbrush, but for the most part I just only airbrush lacquer. This drawer is packed full of decals. I have lots of old sheets, lots of custom sheets, lots of unused sheets. It's the decal drawer. And then down below, that's where I keep all my action bases and stands and leftover pieces to action bases, you know, so I can modify new action bases, etc. And these, I just keep sandwich bags on hands. When I'm breaking apart kits into sections, I like to stick them in bags to keep them organized, at least before they start getting painted, because after they start getting painted, they scratch if you put them in the bags. But this is, you'll see, like, you know, left leg, right shoulder, you know, all the way, you know, so on and so forth, all the way through the whole kit. And that's sort of how I get myself organized initially. This is a handy tool my girlfriend just got me for Christmas. It's actually for soldering, but it's a really nice magnifying glass, and has like different levels of magnification and a light in it. Great for detail painting, panel lining, small tiny decals, you know, so on and so forth. Really cool tool. Haven't implemented it too much yet, but I'm excited to, for sure. Moving on down here, obviously everyone needs a trash. These foam mats are additional dry boards for when I run out of space on the cat scratchers, because you can only have so many of those. And these I picked up to basically organize pieces that are completed, being painted, or are done for the time being, just don't need to be on the clip sticks, don't need to be taking up room. I add a little paper towel on there to keep them from sliding around. It's very helpful. But these pieces are all more or less done for the turn red. And I actually have several of these. They are very, very handy for organizing your space. Let's see, I'll stand up here. Oh, I use 2 light sources, which I find to be really handy. Just so you're not casting shadows all over pieces when you're working on them. It's nice to have a light in front of you and behind you. And I keep my Gundam art on the walls. This is actually an original I picked up recently by Zach Jackson. That one's called 007 Sword. He does abstract Gundam inspired paintings. Really awesome work. So behind me, I'll keep a lot of unbuilt kits. Obviously the perfect grades that don't fit in my glass cases. And here, just in an old box, is where I keep all the old leftover pieces from old kits that didn't get used, or future kit bashing, or modifications. All the ones on runners are from the Astray. I just haven't gotten around to breaking them off the runners yet. And let's see what else. Well, one of my display cases, but we'll get to that later. Okay, well, so here's my painting station. It's fairly simple, but it works well. It's important to be near a window. I actually just got this box fan that I can put in the window to keep, you know, to help ventilate the space. Let's see, turn on this light. So just got this new compressor, which is great. I think in the ballpark of like $150 off Amazon. It's a big step up from my old one. A stirring wand, which is great for mixing paints quickly. I don't use it a ton, but they're good to have. This one's actually for frothing coffee. 2 Iwata airbrushes, a 3mm needle and a 5mm needle. It's a 5mm needle. This is a adjustable 3mm needle Iwata. Obviously a cleaning jar, some airbrush cleaner, and I actually keep cheap thinner on hand just to clean my airbrush faster between colors. The airbrush cleaner can take a little while, so I'll usually hit it with the cheap lacquer thinner first, then move to the airbrush cleaner. Leveling thinner, not easy to get your hands on, but it's the best thinner. It's not cheap either, but it is the best. Pipettes, I use like a madman for, you know, measuring drops that are going into jars, etc. I always use these cat scratchers for drying boards. And yeah, this is the Astray that's about to get another top coat. Always keep some rubber gloves on hand. A fume respirator you'll need always. This is basically just the cleaning tools for my airbrush. So when I'm done with this session, I'll disassemble it, throw it in this, bring it to the cleaning station. And these are mixing bottles, which I really I really like to use the ones with the numbers on them, just so you can get your thinner to paint ratio exact and consistent every time. Some people use scales. I like those. I like the numbers. Additional airbrush parts. And then in addition to that, this is an ultrasonic, which is not only great for cleaning your airbrush, but also for mixing paint. Warm paint shoots a little better. Yeah, like if you have some real tough paint to break up, pop it in there for 20 minutes, give it a shake for a minute or two, and you're pretty much good to go. The rest of this studio space is actually my girlfriend's, Miyazaki Designs on Instagram, and she's a jeweler. So there's actually a decent amount of gear that she has that I've been able to apply to Gundam and to Gunpla. This buffing tool I've used in the past, and several other things. And let's see, I'll go through the case. These are all my 144 scales. A lot of this stuff is from early on when I got into Gunpla and just kind of started to learn how to paint and use markers, and was trying, simpler techniques. So a lot of this is my earlier work. And over here we got my 1/100s, master grades and whatnot. And these are all my, fully painted builds. That Dynamis was my first painted build ever, actually, all done with cans. All three of these are done with cans. And then this was from when I moved into airbrush. So my Gramps and my Turn X, and yeah, a few more. And of course the perfect grade, some more unbuilt kits. I have the Supernova Wing Zero, I have a Judge, I have a Barbatos, which I'm doing next with the 6-form conversion kit. And yeah, other than that, I'm also really into Spawn toys and Spawn collectibles, so they kind of watch over me while I work. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you have any questions on my page at @pickled_Gundam on Instagram. Yeah, keep building.
Wow, you can see the studio, right? It's very nice and very organized. You can see the working station, the paint booth, and even he shared the corner with his girlfriend. So nice. And yes, totally agree with Jordan. Never forget your mask if you want to repaint your Gunpla, especially if you work on lacquer, because the fume and the smell is so bad for your health. Okay, back on the shelf, we can see all the collection from the high grade to the master grade. Oh, especially the Turn X Gundam. So cool. I think that's my favorite collection from Jordan. It's blue metallic, if I'm not mistaken. No, you better check them out on his Instagram at pickled_Gundam. Yeah, that's the right name. At pickled_Gundam. Once again, you better check them out right now, because what was the name? Astray Turn Red is already uploaded. I think that's the newest collection from Jordan, so you better check them out. Okay guys, so if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And who's next? Maybe you can put the name on the comment below. So stay tuned on Planox Projects YouTube. Bye bye.